Batters up, it is movie review. And today it is Total Recall 1990. It's gonna be the 30th anniversary pretty soon. I'm a little early. Douglas Quaid, Arnold Schwarzenegger, is a bored construction worker in the year 2084 who dreams of visiting the colonized Mars. He visits Recall, a company that plants false memories into people's brains in order to experience the thrill of Mars without having to travel there. But something goes wrong during the process. Quaid discovers his entire life is actually false memories, and then the planet and the people whom planted it in his head now want him dead. Released June 1st, 1990, Paul Verner is the director. Box office 261.3 million. As of when this comes out, it will be showing on the channel IFC tomorrow at 2:30 Central Time. IMDb rating is 7.5 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes 82%. Metacritic is 57%. I have seen this movie a whole bunch. I know it very, very well. It used to be Schwarzenegger films growing up in the 90s were a jam. Even Last Action Hero. I even like Last Action Hero. That being said, I did lose interest in the movie 3 times. It's probably because I've seen it all that much. It's whenever the part when they're in the underground and he's talking to the mutant, that's Schwarzenegger. I always lose interest in that part. Oh, ever since I was a kid, I always lose interest in that part. So here are my actual thoughts on the movie that I've written down. So I'm just starting the movie, and I realize I've seen this movie a lot. Oh, I just started the movie and I haven't. So writing dyslexic is hard. Even sometimes I don't get my own notes. But the gist of my thought is, I've seen this movie a shit ton. Never really pay attention to the credits because it's probably been like 10 years since I last saw it, honestly. And before that, I was a kid. I really wasn't interested in the credits all that much. Never knew this was a short story called We Remember It Wholesale for You by Phil K. Dick. That's pretty cool. I never knew that. So in the beginning of the movie, we see Arnold Schwarzenegger and a lady, I don't remember her name right now, walking on Mars in a mountain. At the very edge of the mountain, which is kind of weird. Or the ravines, but it's still kind of weird. Because there's like 10 feet to the mountain. Why are you walking so close to the mountains? Risk falling in. This is also coming from someone who's fallen a lot in their life and currently recovering from. Well, that wasn't a fall. That was just more of a twist. I stretched my ankle out real bad and I'm recovering right now. But yeah, the very beginning, even though it's a dream, he's walking like super close to the mountains. I mean, to the edge, and I'm just watching there. I was like, that doesn't seem too smart. And even then, after that, he does fall, but it's a dream, so it doesn't matter. But still bothers me. Harry the construction worker gives a very good point. Don't fuck with your brain. It's not worth it. And yet he still goes to Recall. So do all the Recall clients have like the same exact memories, or do they have different variants? So like if you go see a movie, you go see 007, you're watching the spy movie, but instead of you're just living the spy movie now, weird. They can vary in, but I wonder how deep the programming is. Who's the prick at Johnny Cab that thought that they were being funny by programming the AI to be assholes? Wouldn't you rather treat your customers with a little bit more respect? But it doesn't really matter because they're already in the cab, but they haven't paid for the fare until the end. The Johnny Cabs were like comic relief, but it always kind of like, why are they so snarky with you? How many times in movies have we seen Arnold Schwarzenegger break someone's neck? It's at least once in every movie. It's that classic, he has him under his forearm and he just lifts up and snaps the neck. I remember it in every single movie I've ever seen of his. So the X-ray parts of the movie are on the subway. Alright. Really weird. The X-ray part of the movie. Those parts are really cool. And I can't understand my note, but I know what I was trying to say. But you see the security guards on the other end. And they're looking at them. And they see Schwarzenegger have a gun. So they're like, sound the alarm and all that, and they run in there. But when Schwarzenegger goes through the X-ray, he just runs through it. Why do they just look back at him as he's running away? It's their job to chase him. I don't know why they weren't in pursuit of the chase too. Did one of the agency members go by and like, we have this, and that's why they didn't chase? I don't understand that. This movie's got a weird feel to it because it's clearly the 90s, but it's some futuristic ideas to it. There's giant TVs on the train, and for some reason everything's gray and silver. But and the guns don't feel futuristic. That's the only thing about the movie that's always been weird. The guns feel really 90s. How the hell did Johnny Cab control himself when he wasn't hooked up to anything? Almost like the movie wanted some big blow-up scene in it. I'm watching the movie today, and I cannot believe how many times I was allowed to watch this as a kid. There's so much blood and violence in it. There is a lot of blood and violence into it. Never bothered me either. So his disguise mask, Arnold Schwarzenegger's, could say two phrases. Get ready for a surprise in 2 weeks. But it can't say yes or no. That's pretty awful programming. Did whoever programmed was like, yeah, they can just nod their head up and down. Oh, my phone charged. It wasn't charged earlier. So, Denny's family is a part of the first settlers. He said maybe his grandpa is buried there, so he's third generations, which means at least 100 years Mars has been settled. That's pretty weird that, what is that guy's name? The evil person who I've never been able to remember his name. He's been the boss for that long. That's some pretty good technology to keep him alive. They could have called this movie Mindfuck the Movie. It never made sense to me that the aliens from Mars would have a planet to terraform it with air. It's almost like the aliens that were there who built those devices were colonizing it. Right? Because there's no other reason for aliens to... If you were born on a planet, most likely you're going to be acclimated to that planet's atmosphere. You wouldn't need to build a giant device to terraform that planet. unless you are coming from a different planet. So, as Earthlings, we need to terraform Mars, but if they were actually Martians, there is no reason for Martians to terraform Mars. It always bothered me. So maybe the Earthlings that are there are the second Earthlings to come, like the second life forms to come there and started colonizing Mars. The first ones didn't survive, probably because it wasn't the right climate for them or whatever. Oh yes, there's a hologram in this movie, and you see it earlier, but Schwarzenegger doesn't use it until the end, where he sets it up and he's going through this columns, and all of a sudden the Mars military surrounds him. But they're surrounding him in a formation where there's two columns, and then they're just staring at each other. And they just start shooting live ammo at Schwarzenegger. Schwarzenegger fakes getting shot and all that, but we find out he's a hologram. So, in reality, they would have just been shooting at themselves, so they would have been killing themselves. Then later on in the movie, we see the brunette, which for the life of me, I cannot remember her name. I am super bad with names. Just awful. We see her, she has a hologram now, and she uses it and does that same exact thing, and now there is actually consequences. Movies are so weird. At the end, the bad guy, and god damn, I cannot remember anyone's names, who's the president of Mars, says, "I'll be home in time for cornflakes." I don't know if that is good product placement or bad product placement, because he is the evil guy who's saying the name of a product, but he is the evil guy, so you know what they say, it's always any publicity is good publicity. Oh, that's messed up, that saying. So Mars has a full planet of air now, but how can they sustain that planet without any trees? Because the way humans work, from what I remember, is we breathe in air and we make carbon dioxide. Or we make... shit, I forget. We make something else. And then trees are sort of the counterbalance to that. Trees breathe what we make, and we breathe what they make. Mars has no trees. So it's just a full planet of air in which humans will be breathing, but there's nothing to sustain that circle. So unless they need to transplant trees there, which will be very hard because it's a whole planet of look like just dirt, not like dirt, like sand. I don't know how they're gonna do that. So on a scale of 1 to 10, this movie has always been a solid 6 for me, and recommendation, if you've never seen this movie, of course it's a 5. It's Schwarzenegger. It's a pretty good film. So that's all I gotta say for this one. I'll see you next time. Peace.